Modern warfare has delivered one unmistakable lesson. Having a sophisticated missile is important, but being able to manufacture that missile quickly and in a very large numbers can be even more important. India is now attempting to address precisely that challenge. The government has moved to open production of indigenous tactical missiles to private industry, ending the traditional concentration of missile production within the public sector ecosystem. And at the same time, private defense companies are investing heavily in missile manufacturing infrastructure. Adani Defense, for example, has announced a rupees 2,500 crore investment in a large missile ecosystem in Madhya Pradesh. So what is driving this change? Why does India need more missile factories? And how could private sector production change India's preparedness for a prolonged conflict? India is changing the way it manufactures missiles. Ministry of Defense has moved towards allowing private companies to participate in production of indigenous tactical missiles. A significant change from the earlier model in which Bharat Dynamics Limited played central role for many missile systems. The development comes as India increasingly focuses on precision weapons, long-range fires, air defense and network warfare. And the reason is simple. Modern warfare consumes missiles fast. India's missile story began with a strategic necessity. The Integrated Guided Missile Development Program created the foundation for systems such as Prithvi and Akash. Over time, India developed increasingly sophisticated weapons, that is Akash, Astra, BrahMos, Nag, Helina and Pralay, and a growing family of ballistic, cruise, anti-tank and air-to-air missiles. But developing a missile and producing it in wartime quantities are two different challenges. A laboratory can prove a technology. A production line has to deliver hundreds and potentially thousands of weapons with consistency. That is where industrial capacity becomes a component of military power. And this is where latest policy shift becomes important, because the question India is now trying to answer is not simply can we build advanced missiles? The question is, can we build enough of them quickly enough when a crisis begins? Look at the wars of last few years. Ukraine has demonstrated the importance of artillery, cruise missiles and drones. Red Sea has demonstrated how quickly missile stocks can be consumed in sustained operations. Israel's conflicts have shown the enormous demand for air defense interceptors, and modern militaries increasingly depend on precision-guided weapons for striking high-value targets. That creates a new equation. Readiness is equal to technology plus inventory plus industrial replenishment. If a country possesses an advanced missile but can replace it only slowly, its combat power can decline during a prolonged conflict. India's private sector is now beginning to build precisely this capacity. Adani Defense has announced 2,500 crore rupees investment in a large missile ecosystem in Shivpuri, Madhya Pradesh, including facilities for composite propellant and TNT production. This is important because a missile factory is not just an assembly building. A serious missile ecosystem requires propellant, warheads, guidance systems, seeker technology, electronics, actuators, composite structures, testing, quality control, and a large network of specialized suppliers. The strategic objective is therefore not merely to create another manufacturer, it is to create industrial depth. Imagine a high-intensity conflict in which precision missiles are being fired every day. The first requirement is an adequate stockpile. Second is the ability to replenish that stockpile. Third is the ability to modify weapons according to battlefield feedback. And the fourth is the ability to surge production. A large industrial base provides all four advantages. It also reduces the risk of a single production bottleneck becoming a military vulnerability. There is another consequence. A larger domestic production base can also support exports. But exports matter strategically because they create economies of scale. More orders mean larger production runs. Larger production runs can reduce unit costs. A strong supplier base can support upgrades, and an export consumer base can sustain production capacity even during peacetime. This is how defense manufacturing can move from being a procurement activity to becoming a strategic industrial capability. And that may ultimately be the real meaning of Atmanirbharta in missiles. Not simply designing an indigenous weapon, but building an industrial system capable of sustaining a war.